the quality changes. The boundaries are being broken. But this is the harshest point of human existence. Me and you, we want to change the world, don't we? Well, at least I did. We want to change the Khoja community at least, don't we? We want to change the perception of Islam, don't we? We want to change everything that we can in our good Samaritan spirit. We want to give back to the world. In our charitable spirit, we want to change the world. The one thing that needs to be changed, and it's the most difficult, that is me changing myself. Look, I want to change the world, but the world that I want to change has to be changed on my terms. Have you seen that? I want to feed the world. Why? Because I value feeding the world. It's I. The world must be a just world. Why? Because I want it to be a just world. By God, when we look at our masters, they will say, even your intention that I want to become one with Allah is the greatest expression of shirk. Even that lust and yearning and desire is less than befitting. This is the most difficult point. How odd that the human being wants to change everything, and the thing that is most obvious escapes him. Look at Sulaiman. He said, "O Lord, let me feed your creatures for a day." "So be it," said the Lord. A fish came, emerged from the depths of the oceans, opened its mouth and said, "Sulaiman, I am hungry, sustain me." He gathered his jinn and man. They all fed him till the end of the day. He cried out, "I am still hungry." He fell into prostration with humility. He said, "O Allah, Anta Razzaq." Sulaiman wanted to feed the world. It was the greatest expression of shirk within Sulaiman at that point. And Allah educates Sulaiman and brings him of age. Even Sulaiman is brought off to age. Imagine. The greatest point is me. It's you. Let us go and elucidate this further. When we read Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, Tabatabai, Marhum, comments on this. He states, by looking very closely at the verses of the Quran, we understand something so alien from what appears at face value. Allah talks of subul, sabil, paths. And he talks about Sirat al-Mustaqim. He talks about ways and he talks about a path. Sirat al-Mustaqim is one, but subul are many. And Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayhi says, "Ana Siratul Mustaqim." I am the straight path. But when we work into the core of these meanings and depths of this meaning, and this is what Tabatabai says, Marhum, may Allah bless his soul and elevate him into the ranks of those that Allah loves. He states, there is no Siratul Mustaqim like the one me and you understand. There is no one path. There isn't. There can never be one path. There are ways upon ways upon ways. And all of them, when they are employed righteously, they constitute Sirat al-Mustaqim. Allahu Akbar. So in an instance, a person can be in Sirat al-Mustaqim. At the very next instance, he is not. For what was right an instance ago may not be right at this point. It's a constant evolutionary path and a growth. What does he mean by that? What an amazing statement. What an amazing, mind-blowing statement. He states that, look, our story is none other than the story of a child that is being conceived, and a child that is developing within the womb of its mother, and a child that is taking birth, a child that is learning to walk. He is becoming a young child, a young man, a grown man, an old man, and then the spiritual self takes birth and evolves in the folds of Allah. This is our story, he says. Apply it to Siratul Mustaqim. Look at the path that conceived embryo has taken from the point of conception till the point of death, to barzakh, to qiyamat, to the folds of the lofty ones. Look at the path that it has taken. It was an embryo. It was a child suckling from the bosom of its mother. it began to walk, then stood erect, began to learn, then contributed, began to display godly signs and look after his children, came of age, a moral human being took birth, became spiritual, left this world, and ascended beyond. None of these stages resemble each other entirely. They're all different, yet they have something that joins them all together. The thing that joins them together is the evolutionary progressive trend, the trend of breaking limits. The thing that is different is every stage is different. And this is the story of Siratul Mustaqim, and this is what we are talking about. The story of Siratul Mustaqim is what? That we find a way which is righteous. We evolve, we find another righteousness. We evolve, we find another righteousness. We evolve, we find another sense of righteousness. And all of this is constituting towards Siratul Mustaqim. There is no one path. There are paths upon paths upon paths that when they are chosen properly, they constitute the Sirat al-Mustaqim. What does this mean, therefore, in our terms? And this is the most hardest part of the whole of this discussion, and this is the challenge of life. And whatever the Prophet has been saying can be interpreted in this principle, and we will find that it neatly fits within this principle. Before we go there, has the Prophet not said, he who has an iota of conceit, not pride. Pride is a manifest oppression, injustice. Pride is when I say, I am and I'm better than you. But conceit is, I am something. The Prophet said, he who has an ounce of conceit, not only will he not witness paradise, he will not even smell the fragrance of paradise. Why? Because there's a shred of I. And I is the biggest shirk, and it does not allow for this beautiful oneness. So now in our context, and look at one or two verses as well while we're at it. In our context, we as human beings, we find ourselves in a context right now, and we are very pleased with that context. I'll go to mosque, I'll pray salah, I'll fast, I'll do this, I'm within my safety parameters. It's a false sense of security. It's a very false sense of security. If I do this, I'm fine. It's about time the drug wore off. The effects of this happy dream drug that we've taken wears off, and we find ourselves in the depths of the ocean, struggling to be afloat, and we begin to understand that we are about to drown. It's about time that reality dawned upon us, and we realize that we are nowhere. There are no safety nets here. There are no safety parameters. Allah has created this wonderful universe in which He has placed me. There is no handbook of A to Z. He is expecting me to find my way around. And that is the unique journey that me and you are taking. Even the Quran of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is secondary to me and you, because the Quran is open to interpretation, is it or is it not? A person reads the Quran and gives life. Another one reads the Quran and takes life. يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا